It says we are live.
Okay.
Hopefully we are. I can't check that right now, but it says we are.
Yeah. Were there others going to join or?
No, it's just the both of us and hopefully the people uh joining the stream to watch, but I'm
Sure.
not sure who's gonna do that because actually I don't have too many subscribers here in Germany. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
strange. Most of my subscribers are like in Australia or in
Oh.
America or in
Hmm.
Canada. It's completely
Uh,
strange. I didn't do that on purpose, but
yeah. I
uh,
I never I have a YouTube channel that I started, oh gosh, years and years ago, but I've never added much content to it, so I don't
I
have a
mean,
whole lot of.
I just did it for fun.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but only recently I got over 180
Mm.
subscribers, and that is the first time that there is something going on,
Yeah.
and I didn't even want to, like, I'm getting into teaching harmonica right now.
Oh,
I
I see.
didn't even want to do that
Yeah.
because I was more the player, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
then the people really liked it, and
Sure.
you know how that
Yeah.
is. I'm even a
Sure.
teacher for German, so you never get uh,
Yeah.
to choose what you teach sometimes,
It is.
uh,
It's good that you can do that. I know just from watching some of your videos and all that you're a student of the instrument, and that you have I'm a play by ear kind of guy. I know zero music theory. Everything is just kind of it is you know I've always
I
just
mean,
had an ability to play the harp.
I mean,
I,
for the longest time, I had no idea about anything like that.
hmm.
But then it was. I don't know if you know that, but my teacher was Will Wild.
Oh,
I
really?
I don't have to tell you who Will Wild is,
Oh,
right? Uh, cool, cool.
I have a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have mine also, but I haven't
yeah,
got it right now. But yeah,
yeah,
so and he was basically, you know how that is.
yeah. Well, he's
Once you get a
fantastic.
teacher, then you really get into that stuff
Sure,
because the guy basically forced me to go out of my comfort zone,
sure.
and
Yeah,
I have to admit I grew a lot as a I didn't even know I don't even know if I can call myself a musician
oh, certainly you can. Certainly you can.
I don't earn money from making
Yeah,
music, but
yeah.
I am writing songs and I'm recording them, so I
Sure.
could technically call myself a musician, but
Yeah. Well, gosh, there's so many different levels of that. As far as guys just picking up a harp, I've had people hear me play and say, "Man, you got to show me how to do that." Well, you go, you put it
I
next
mean,
to your mouth, and you either blow or you draw. That's kind of, I mean,
certainly, it certainly helps when you start writing songs, when you
oh yeah,
know
yeah,
what you do,
sure,
because the thing is uh, it's not about knowing all that stuff for the sake of knowing it, but
yeah,
just it is kind of uh, it works as a safe haven basically.
sure, sure,
If you know how a chord progression is
hmm,
constructed, then you don't go wrong when you have to do that again.
exactly,
Uh,
yeah. Oh, that's
and
I
that
had the,
and that is the reason why I did that.
hmm,
You know, not because I wanted to show off or something
Sure.
like that.
No, it's a, it's hard to explain to people, especially non-musicians, people that, they don't quite understand that there's a connection, between from musician to musician. It's, I've been in several bands, none of them that ever, you know, amounted to anything of any consequence other than, I enjoyed every one of them that I was in. And I learned from, uh, really good musicians some things that I wouldn't have learned otherwise, just by playing with them, being involved in the same
Yeah, and
project
that's
and
the
all.
other thing you need to play with, and that's kind of thing I'm lacking here because I can play with others,
Yeah,
but mostly while recording online stuff over
sure.
BandLab
Yeah,
stuff, you know.
that's all I do now. I mean, I don't. I've at 64, I've quit the. I don't have any visions of grandeur anymore. I think I'm pretty much past the. I'm never going to be a famous musician. So
I mean that I don't care about that. I
nah,
mean
no,
it would be nice if I could make money from it because
sure,
I I don't have any problem with making money, you
no,
know,
none at
uh,
all.
but if that's not the case, then I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, there,
well,
you
mm,
can find riches in a lot of different places. It can be
yeah.
money, it can be this.
But
I
I have to admit, I would love it to have like the old fashioned way, like meeting up in a garage
yeah,
with
yeah,
two or three guys
yeah.
forming a band, right?
Mhm.
That would be nice, but that's
Oh yeah.
just not happening right now. So,
Yeah, that's.
uh,
I grew up in a small town, but there was a lot of, but near Fort Worth, Texas. So I grew up in a little farming community, but it was pretty near, and so there were a lot of, there's a lot of musical talent in and around the cities. So if you want to meet a lot of musicians, you got to go where the people are, I suppose, is the deal. But yeah, but I always played, with just guys that were, like I say, that were better musicians than I was, and I learned from that and
that
kind of.
happens a lot, yeah.
Yes,
But
yeah,
that
yeah,
but that is the better thing to do. I mean,
certainly.
what will you learn if you always play with guys that
Oh
are
yeah.
you
uh,
need to
it,
play with guys that are better than you
it's
are, right?
a drummer explained to me about what playing cross harp was. I didn't have a clue,
Yeah.
when I first started trying to play along with guys, and I thought, man, this something's just. It was hard to play in key, and he explained to me about playing cross harp, and he barely played at all,
And
and so
I had
that
I
opened
had
up.
I had it both ways. I
Uh,
had it with guys that were really really good, and
hmm
I felt really humbled then,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Uh, and I had it with guys that couldn't do the most basic things.
sure,
I had to play um at we call that abibal. That was basically what you guys when you have your A levels. I think it's called A levels in the in America. So it's the highest degree of school you can get in school, right?
oh, I
Before you
see,
go
yeah,
to college. And
hmm
when you graduate,
hmm
getting your A levels, then there is a giant ball basically where people get to dance and
hmm
whatever. And some kind of teacher got note of the fact that I could play blues harmonica,
yeah,
right? And
yeah, yeah,
he was in charge of the school band there,
oh,
and I
yeah,
thought, okay, oh my god,
yeah,
because school bands are usually not very good, you
hmm
know. And
Yeah,
this
they're
one
more focused on that music theory thing.
and this one was unfortunately uh, not the exception,
Yeah.
and I was already pretty fairly good with the
Hmm.
harmonica because I had played uh, in a few bands by that
Hmm.
time,
Sure.
and that was just it was so frustrating because
Yeah.
nothing lined up. There was
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
not even the basic timing, and the
Yep.
drummer was not not only was he out of sync, he was also pretty loud.
Oh, that
And
that
I,
doesn't
I,
help.
can, I can tell you, the loudest drummer is not always the best drummer,
It's true.
So,
That is true. I
and
know. Yeah.
and that is the most terrible thing is, I mean, everything stands and falls with your rhythm, and if your
Sure.
drummer
Yeah.
is
You need.
not capable of doing something,
Sure.
then you have a real problem,
Exactly. Yeah. It's all, especially with blues, it's pretty standard, as far as, 12 bar blues is 12 bar blues, no matter who's playing it. And it might even be the same tempo beat and chord structure, but, whoever it is that's doing it has made it into their, their tune as opposed to
Oh, I
everybody
have
else sounding
I
the
have had
same.
a
So,
lot of discussion about that because there are these uh, most of them are really nice guys, but
yeah,
there are always the kind of jerks that tell you, "Oh, blues is so boring because it's
yeah,
always the same,"
yeah,
the 12
yeah,
bar structure and it doesn't change. And then
yeah,
if I challenge them and say, "Do that over 12
exactly.
bars, over 36 bars, over what," they
Yeah,
always get it wrong sometimes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
it,
That's a
it is not as easy as it seems.
not at all. It's just like playing harmonicas, or I've got stacks of whenever I'm recording, I've got a bunch of them laid out that I generally use, and so, you know somebody that doesn't know harmonica comes in and looks at it and says, "Why have you got so many?" And you try to explain to them, "Well, look on the end of the seven basic keys, and then all the extra stuff." And they they just think harmonica is harmonica. You just pick one up and you can start playing along with, no matter what somebody else is playing. It's just you just pick it up and start playing. So it's say that learning cross harp. Gosh, that was when I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s, when I was playing with that group of guys. They were some buddies from school, but they it took a long time for me even to move past just being an accompanying uh,
Yeah,
instrument. It's
yeah,
it can be the featured instrument. Obviously has been through the years. There've been so many great blues players that they carry the band. It's,
yeah. And the thing with harmonica is you can use it as an accompanying instrument, right? But
yep,
in blues, more or less, uh, we are often required to be the soloist,
sure,
at least at some point, right?
sure,
So,
yeah.
and
That's
I
that is
have
true.
I have changed my attitude various times because when I started off, I wasn't interested in like theory or something like that,
Sure,
and I
yep,
always thought most of the harmonica guys like get to play a few lines in the middle of the song as a solo, and the rest of it I didn't really care for.
sure,
And
yeah,
And then there was the point when I had to really accompany the band,
Sure,
not play a solo, but to
yeah,
really care what the band was doing. Where was the chord change?
sure, yeah,
Where was the singer? And not to intervene with the
yeah,
singer, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I
Which is hard
really,
to do if you're
I,
playing
I,
along
re-
and
I
in your
really
melody,
messed
it's
it
hard
up.
not to. Yeah,
I really messed it up. So it is. So you really kind of learn not to be a dick,
yeah.
basically, right?
There you go.
So
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Uh,
Well, that's I
so
know. I
we
played
have
in
a
a.
hello from Ryan.
Okay. Yeah.
He's at home now to relax to us.
Uh,
So
it's 6 o'clock there, or what time is it there?
I think he's in Cape Town, and
Oh,
as far as I know, Cape Town has the same time as Germany, and
uh,
uh, here is 6:16 right
mm-hmm,
now. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, we
Yeah,
are in the evening right now, and you
sure.
are having lunch after this, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yep, yep. It's
Is
at eleven
like
16.
is the food already cooking or
No, no, we're my wife and I are both retired now, so it's kind of we are as far as lunchtime, supper time schedules, or it's just it's whenever. So,
if I may be curious, what did you do before you were retired?
I owned a painting and drywall finishing uh, contracting company, subcontract.
Ah, so that was also self-employed work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. For about nearly 40 years, I was in that trade.
And
But,
did that fulfill you, or like
you
did
know,
you?
early on, I can tell you this: at my age now, looking back, it's a young man's game. If you're gonna, you know, make it, because you got to go. It's like,
Yeah,
everything is tight schedule and you have to go. But it so early on, yeah, it was very fulfilling. It seemed like, because I could make more money, obviously, than as opposed to actually working for somebody else, which I had done up until the time that I went into business. But it I was lucky, fortunate enough to have a guy that was working with me as a partner, and then my oldest son Ryan uh, is he learned the trade with us, and actually he has taken over
and is the
the
company
business.
going on now?
Yeah, yeah, he's not on such a grand grand level, but there's a there's kind of a lack of that sort of trained person in this area, so he stays real busy. Uh, he's unfortunately he's got my my issues with a bad back and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So that
but
kind of
I can
that
tell you, if I don't know if you know this, but I don't make a secret out of it. So I'm in a wheelchair.
sure, yeah,
I can't walk. I never could walk.
yeah,
Uh so and you can imagine if you always sit or lie,
sure,
you get back issues,
sure, yeah,
And I can tell you, I have a lot of back pain sometimes.
sure,
Uh, but it is nothing I can't treat. But
yeah,
it is an ongoing issue, and it will never be no issue. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm the same.
uh,
I've had I've had fusion surgery. I've had some other uh, a
yeah,
couple of back surgeries, and I've had carpal tunnel surgery. I
yeah. Oh,
screwed
that
my
sounds.
knee and had to have my knee
Oh, that
replaced.
sounds pleasant. Right?
Right now, I've got this is one of the rewards of 40 years of the trade, and I'm
Oh
all
yeah, oh
I'm a
yeah, I
mess.
can see that.
I'm a mess. I used to play a lot
So,
of guitar, and I can hardly play guitar anymore. So it's handy that the
yeah,
harmonicas
I
are
saw a
small.
few of your older videos on
Yeah,
YouTube, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I liked it. It's kind of folky,
Yeah,
some.
that's people ask me what it's hard to put a label on things sometimes, especially when somebody says what sort of music do I play, and it generally is it's folk or blues or now then they've come out with a, and it's probably been a while, people call it Americana, which is kind of that blend. It's kind of like uh, folk, blues, country kind of mash, and
I mean,
so
you always get that. So I'm a songwriter as well, and people
yep.
ask me what kind of songs do you write. I mean, you listen to my songs. What kind of songs do I write? I
I
mean,
know that's just and
I
it's
don't know. It's jazzy, it's
yeah,
bluesy. My last one was a little bit more crunchy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the
I
people
was
like the
listening to one of
last
your.
one. The last one
Oh,
they
everybody
like
likes that.
much.
Every,
Uh,
everybody
but
likes that blue,
but
that Chicago blues.
sometimes I really don't know. So I just like it and then I do it,
Sure. Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
kind of music that is, then I don't care.
I've got a catalog of, I don't know, hundreds of songs that I've written, and they range from just like that, from basic rock tunes to a lot of growing up. I played a lot of just blues, so it took a while to kind of to figure out that uh, there were other other uses for the harmonica than just blues.
Oh,
That,
oh, Ryan says it's 6:18 right
ah,
now, wearing.
and yeah,
So yeah, it's 6:22 right now then because that
yeah,
was a few minutes ago, but he says 6:18, so it's the same time as
yeah,
here,
is there.
right?
That's I
Uh,
used to. I played a lot on band lab with a guy that was from Ireland, and he was about, seems like he was 6 hours ahead as well. I know I had trouble kind of communicating with him because you'd have a question, and you wouldn't get an answer until the following day. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's all because I have a lot of American guys I play with. You know the Meal Train and Company band
yeah,
on that
yeah,
lab, right? These are
yeah,
these guys all are it's my band basically.
yeah,
I'm in that band. Uh
sure,
and these guys all are in America and I'm
yeah,
like 6 7 hours
yeah, yeah.
different,
Some of
right? So
you've got the guys that are in that band are Kentucky, or is that where isn't
uh,
one of them
one is
Grave?
Kentucky, the other one is Texas,
Yeah,
and now you ask me the one two guys are from
Kentucky.
Kentucky, I guess,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the other one is from Texas, if I'm
yeah.
not
I know
mistaken.
I played early on with a couple of those guys, just forking some of their tunes or adding harp to a couple of their tunes. So I kind of know who they are, just just by that. Not really
Yeah,
getting
so
to.
I really just met them on BandLab and they did stuff I liked and I did
Yeah,
stuff they liked
sure.
and then they invited me playing with them, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I
But
know.
but I have to admit it was kind of a jerk move because the guy that founded the band had these incredibly strange song he would send to everyone that wanted to that would want to join the band,
Yeah,
and then he would say like do something on it, and
yeah,
it was the most irritating song ever, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that was just That was just a test to see what I could come up with. It was kind of
Sure.
jerky, I have to say, but
Yeah.
I obviously passed the test.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yeah. You're in
but
several, aren't you? Several bands on
yeah,
there. Or?
we're still doing stuff, but
Hmm.
it is kind of strange sometimes because we have this time difference stuff,
Sure. Yep.
and
Yep. Yep.
and they
That's,
don't, and that's why I'm always behind.
yep.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. With me, it was everybody that was in the band, the our band lab band. We're all East Coast. They're, I say East Coast. They're Eastern time zone is what. So they were always an hour ahead, and so it was always kind of like the reverse. If you had something that you wanted to show them, yeah, and you know how that is when you got something you're kind of excited about. Listen to this. Listen, I want you guys to listen to this, and you don't hear from them. It's like, did they
Yeah.
just not like it, or or it might be
and you,
tomorrow
and you
before I.
never and you never know, like, you never get an answer when you need one, and then oh man,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
that is,
Hmm. But
yeah.
it's a
But I like them a lot. They are very nice guys,
yeah.
basically.
I've
uh
had a few conversations with some of them. They are
I mean,
good people.
obviously, I'm European and they are American, and that can
Yep.
sometimes clash a little bit,
Yeah.
but not not in a bad way. I mean, uh, everyone is different, and that is okay. I
I
mean,
agree. That's it. Yeah, has to be that way.
yeah,
I see. I see. Ryan says I'm a cool, very cool dude. Well,
yeah. You obviously are. There's no
well,
question
there you
about
go. There you go.
that. I mean, and you can say nothing against that without incriminating yourself.
There you
So,
go. If
uh,
all, yeah, yeah, there. Everybody has something about themselves that they're not overly proud of, or whatever. So
yeah, but
yeah,
also
it's
everyone has redeeming qualities. So,
exactly. That's true.
uh, except me, I'm totally out of redemption. There is
There
no
you
redemption for me, I guess.
go.
Um,
Yeah.
no, no, but yeah, the wheelchair is basically also the reason why I never really went on touring or
Sure.
something,
Yeah.
because I'm not very mobile. I
Yeah.
have my home studio here,
Yeah.
but every time I would need to go very far away.
Sure.
That is just a very big hustle,
Yeah. That's
and then
uh, an
you need
interest.
nursing and stuff, that
Sure.
is not funny,
That's an
and it
interesting
also
thing.
costs money.
The last band that I was in, actual physical band that I was in, our drummer was when he was young had gotten into a motorcycle accident, and so he was paraplegic, and he got
Oh,
around with the wheelchair. He can use the uh, the walking canes, or not
yeah.
really canes, but he so sometimes he can get around, but it's still real difficult on him. He doesn't really have
Yeah,
use of his legs like that.
I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it is
Yeah,
just very
sure. Oh,
it is
uh,
hard to do, right? So,
like I said, I've got a lot of achy parts and old parts that have been worked on and all, but I'm still more fortunate than others, and I guess that's
but I'm fine. So it's not that I don't
yeah.
like. My life is fantastic. I really love my life,
It
but
sounds like it is.
it could be easier
Yeah,
sometimes,
sure,
right? So,
sure. Yeah,
but
uh,
because I don't get to do a lot of stuff other people just do, right?
sure.
And
Yep.
and some and sometimes that is a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie there,
Oh,
right?
I can
That
imagine.
is,
It's
uh,
I yeah,
but basically that's why I just decided to other people go. I'm on vacation right now, and
Mm,
other people, when they go on vacation, they make a very big trip, like
sure.
wherever they go. And I'm not. I'm staying here. I have all
Yeah.
my music
Yeah.
equipment here, which
Sure.
is the expense. It is sometimes it's not the most expensive stuff, but it
Mm,
is fine equipment I have
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. You do have. You do have.
and you need it's kind of decision. I uh, sell my money. I spent my money on that.
Hmm.
So, and that means I can't take that trip, but
Yeah.
I couldn't take the trip anyway because I'm sitting in that wheelchair. So that's
Sure.
my uh, way to compensate,
Sure.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I
Uh,
know. I know. I had. We raised. Not I. My wife and I raised 4 kids, and so with us, it was always you had to take care of their needs ahead of our needs. So it was kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah,
not that I didn't. I mean, I still have. I've got a room full of stuff here that I've accumulated through the years, and most of it not high end equipment, but 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 good functionally as far as I'm concerned. And so you had priorities take care of the kids first. So
yeah,
mine was always I'd see something I wanted, and it was almost more like put it on a wish list. Eventually, I'll get and so that's I, the price of harmonicas has gotten so outrageous that it's hard to look at a set of them and think, man, there's a few $100s right there, just real
yeah.
real easy.
They have gotten
Hmm.
pretty expensive,
I know
but
those.
I have to say they also have gotten a lot better.
Oh yeah, and there's a
So if you look
yeah.
at it, come on, if you look at the original Marine Band
Oh, I
back,
hated them.
yeah, they were. Come on, you couldn't play them almost, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Took a lot of air.
they
Took
were
a lot of air.
leaky. They
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah.
That's just a
But
horrible instrument. I
but
mean,
when I first started playing, they were only like $6 or $7. So
yeah,
it was kind of like,
I can't talk about that because
yeah,
that's far before
uh,
my
that's
time, But
uh, these Seidel harmonicas. And I'd had one, a session steel, several years ago, and I wasn't as fond of it as I am of these now. But the
I have to admit, I don't like the session steel
you
that
know,
much.
I like these. It's hard getting used to the wild tuning on it. You know, it makes the way that it's tuned makes it easy to do trills and runs and things like that.
Yeah,
But
I
it
mean, the thing is, you can get all the important notes. You can
yeah,
get them as a bendable draw note,
sure,
right?
yep,
And that
yep,
is the
yep.
important thing.
And,
Uh,
anytime I've ever seen Will Wild play, he uses that real high end, where it used to always
I
be
mean, that guy,
a
that
blow
guy,
bend.
that guy is just amazing.
I don't it you it,
I mean,
you know
I'm a good harmonica player. I'm really good, but
yeah, I agree.
he is just out of
Special.
this world.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And there's been guys like him down through the years. I mean, just if you
I
think
mean,
about like the
this here is, I can't even see it because I
mhm.
have this. Uh, this here is my one and only pride, because this is my only custom
Oh yeah,
harmonica
see,
I have.
and I don't have one, and I feel kind of let
You really
down
should
because of
do that
that.
because you will fall in love. I can tell
Ah,
you that
yep.
because they are really. Once you do that, I mean, I they are really expensive
Yep.
because
Yep.
obviously you customize them, and that's why
Sure.
they are expensive. But they play so smoothly,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
if I just,
It's got a great sound. What key are
I
you
mean, they
playing
are,
in? What key are
that
you
is just
playing in?
a C harmonica.
A what?
That's a C harmonica.
C. Yeah. It's D though.
That's the only custom harmonica I have, but it's so airtight. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
uh once you do that, you will want to do it again, and I
Sure.
really want to do it again. I just don't have the
Ah,
money, you know.
it's hard to justify. That's even those. I mean, is what I think these were $80 a piece.
I mean, the normal crossover, and I love crossovers. I'm a crossover guy. The
Yeah.
normal crossover here in Germany is like, what is that, 70 euros?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
know what
yeah.
that is in dollars, but
About yeah, around $80 probably.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that must
Yep.
be.
And
Uh,
I know I've got
and it is already quite expensive, but I'm willing to pay that because the crossover is a very fine
yeah,
harmonica.
I like them.
Uh,
I like them. It's
but
I have a as far as the Marine bands that I play, I have a crossover. I think I only have one, and then I've got a Thunderbird, which is
yeah,
a
yeah,
real
I
low
have
end.
in low F, but that's the
Yeah,
only one I have.
yeah,
And
it,
I'm getting the impression, but I can't really judge, but it's my impression that the Thunderbirds are only the low tuned.
yeah.
Uh, they are
It's supposed
basically they are basically crossovers, but low tuned.
low
You know,
tune. They're a little louder, I think, probably than a crossover. They
they
seem like
have been. I mean, I think the low notes have
mm,
been worked on a little bit,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that they can come out
it,
easier for. I don't have my F right here, but
yeah.
basically what you do with a low tuned harmonica is you do a lot of chugging, right?
Accompanying yourself. Yeah,
Uh,
that's,
and yeah, right.
that's all you can do with that end
Yeah,
of.
that's basically all you can get
That's it.
because all the other stuff is much too hard to
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
right? You need you need too much air for the
sure.
other stuff,
Yes,
right?
and that
Uh,
and just the low end on them is it, if you,
is
it
that
takes a
what
lot
is
of
that?
air.
Is that an F? That wasn't an
It's an
F.
A, I
It's an
believe.
A. Okay.
Yeah, it was low A. It's,
You couldn't even do much more than
but it's hard to play single notes
yeah,
when you
yeah.
get on up
It's
past
not
that.
designed to play
Nope.
single
No,
notes, you know.
it's a backing. It's a
I
backing
mean,
harp.
you can do the blow bends relatively easily because
Yep.
they are so low,
Yep.
but
Yep.
the other stuff is just you don't do
Takes a,
that on a
not at
that
all.
low harmonica, right? I mean, I
I
can
like those
even
the even the I used to play a lot of Lee Oscars. I haven't bought one in quite a while, but the reason that I like them is they had so many of the minor keys and like this is an older one. You kind of tell
yeah.
by
I
the
mean, the older ones were good. I I
this one's
started on them,
yeah,
but then uh they got bad. I have to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't bought one in quite a while. I think the, and in
Uh,
fact,
and
the
And the other contributing factor that of my changing was that I got into overblowing, and
Yeah,
you can't really overblow the Leo. Uh,
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't overblow with the Lee
This one
Oscar.
you
Can you get an overblow on the
this
Lee
one I
Oscar?
can, but it's I think it's made specifically for that function. This one's an A minor, but it's an A minor high, and they would do that with they had some of their low tuned keys, but they also did several of them with that high. Uh, But it's hard to do. It's hard to get a nice. Let's
I
see.
mean, I have to admit I couldn't. Yeah, yeah.
And that's a low D. The session still blues uh,
So
title.
The Oscars I had were notoriously bad for overblowing,
Yeah,
uh, and then I found the crossover, and it was basically Hallelujah,
yeah.
right? So
Oh, they're nice. They're nice. They're there again. It's just it's you have to go through each one of them to kind of uh,
the only issue I have with the crossovers is that they get out of tune very quickly.
wood comb. I think is the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have to buy new ones or retune them quite often.
yeah,
So uh,
yeah. I hardly, uh, you know, I don't work on them myself. I just
no, I
I'm not a
basically let others do that
yeah,
sometimes, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't I'm not
So
let's
I,
see.
I know you have children, and I know you have grandchildren
Yes,
too.
yeah, three. I have
Are, are
four
they
kids.
are they like also into music? Oh,
Yeah. The yeah, they're of course their mom grew up around. There was always music going on here of one sort or another. So she was real good about getting them into Kinder music and some of those things early on. But my the oldest one, she's 15 and she plays flute in the school band. She's really good. And then
like is it? What kind of flute is it? Is it the
a B flat. I don't.
okay?
Yeah, I don't know what
Because
the
I
difference.
I have to say, and I'm kind of sad about it. I have nieces and nephews, but they and I try to, like, how that is when
Uh,
they are pretty small, when they are
yeah,
pretty
the
in their
attention
toddler.
span's about.
You try, they hear the harmonica and they laugh about it, right?
Yep.
They find it good when they are pretty when they
Yeah.
are toddlers, but I never
Yeah.
got them to really.
Yeah.
I gifted them a few harmonicas,
Yep.
trying to get them into it,
Yep. Oh,
but
I've done the same.
you can't force them. So that
No.
must come from themselves,
Yeah. Well, they
and they didn't want to, unfortunately. So
sure. No. My youngest grandson, Ethan, he's must be 12 now. He he plays baritone sax, and
cool.
he's actually they uh, rank you by chair. So he's first chair uh, uh, Barry sax in the school
So
band.
he's gonna be the Charlie Parker of the
Yeah,
family
I
then.
try. I've told him. I said you got to listen to. I said you gotta find out who Boots Randolph was, and you have to learn to play like Boots Randolph. And
And
he
is he listening to him?
yeah, yeah, because now they have, back in the day you had to buy a record. Now it's just accessible.
Yeah, you can
Easily
just go
accessible.
online, right? So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I am kind of, I'm in a strange position because I'm the last generation that
Yeah.
grew up without cell phones.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I now have a smartphone like anybody
Yep.
else,
Yep.
but I grew up when there were no cell
No,
phones.
that's
Uh,
with yeah. We
I'm the
had a
last generation, right? So,
yeah. Yep. I know that was a you know
so I,
we used to
I'm kind
we
of
used to
in the
talk.
middle of both worlds.
Sure. We used to talk about in the future you'll be able to see who you're talking to on your phone, and it didn't, like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and you
But
kind of do, but we didn't have
yes,
that in mind when we said
exactly.
that, right?
Yeah, not at all, not at all. It was the Jetsons. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Yeah, yeah,
cartoon.
I like the Jetsons,
See, that
the
was
Jetsons
that
and the
that
Flintstones, right? So
everybody was gonna be able to fly to work and all that. It was
yeah, and if I remember rightly, the ties were all holograms.
yeah,
They
yeah,
had they had hologram ties
yeah,
back
yeah.
in
That does.
the. I don't know. I'm not. It's long ago. I was a
Yeah,
toddler when that
yeah,
was on, right?
yeah, yeah.
But I remember I grew up with Masters of the Universe. If
No,
you,
yeah. See, that's yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. My Ryan, son Ryan
yeah,
was
yeah.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
was that was
Masters of the
hilarious.
Universe. Yeah, I remember that. Transformers and all
That
that
was like
stuff.
that was all over the place when I
Sure.
was a toddler, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it all came from America, of course,
What
right?
was the Castle Grayskull? Was that
Yeah, yeah, right.
was that
Castle.
part of that?
I should really write the Castle Grayskull Blues
There
or
you go.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was how I grew up, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I
it
was
was really,
Looney Tunes. I was
yeah,
Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all those guys.
yeah. But
That was my generation.
I can tell you, I got a lot of. So I was always into. When I grew up, the music I'm playing now was not trendy,
Sure. Oh no.
blues and rock and
Yeah.
stuff. People didn't care
Yeah.
about that. They don't care now, and they didn't care then
Yeah.
because the electronic music,
Sure.
or whatever you want to call that, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
even know what I would call my music.
That's
Uh,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I got a lot of uh, people picked on me because of the music I
Blues.
liked,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I
because
was
I just wasn't into that stuff, and
well.
yeah,
I like I
and
said.
then,
I grew up in a small a rural town, and it was so the music influences. What people listened to was more country, especially being in Texas. But Texas was a hotbed for God, ZZ Top. That when they came
yeah,
out,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I was probably about high school when they came out, and it was like this uh, melding of rock and blues, and that kind of started. There was a lot of that genre of music kind of around about that time. So it was getting, there were of course uh, old time blues bars and places that the old time guys would go and play at, and but it wasn't. They were usually in kind of a rough part of town, or where you didn't really feel comfortable taking your wife or or a girlfriend or
Okay.
something like that. So we didn't go to many of them. There was a place called the Blue Note in Fort Worth, and
Okay.
it was kind of a famous. A lot of old time guys played there, we went there once or twice, but it was like I say, it didn't feel real comfortable being there. But there, the I say ZZ Top, they were kind of like one of the first, and of course Stevie Ray Vaughan and those guys
Oh,
were
I love
kind of,
Stevie.
yeah, they were all kind of along about that time period as well. So we were just, we didn't have, there was a lot of like pop music there, the
Yeah, and
AM
I'm
radio
just not
station.
really. There are good. There is good stuff sometimes.
Yeah, to each his
But
own.
I'm just basically in my heart. I'm a blues
Hmm.
guy and I'm
Hmm.
a rock guy, and
Hmm.
I'm I'm not into that electronic stuff that
Sure.
much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people
No, I.
people picked on me very much when I was young because you know how
Yeah.
children are,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and and then of course I was the disabled guy, and then they had double. I had
Yeah.
basically to stay with Stevie Ray Vaughan. I had double trouble then,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but I no, it wasn't that bad. But I always felt I didn't really fit in there. So
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that wasn't a problem because my father was pretty. He played guitar and
Ah.
Uh,
Yeah.
he got me into the music. He's not around anymore,
Hmm.
unfortunately, but.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, he was the one uh, that gave me the interest in all of
Sure.
that,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's, I think, the last time we
I'm
talked.
it's kind of a bit sad that he never got to see that
Yeah.
I'm now writing my own songs,
Sure. Yeah. My
I,
dad,
yeah, but
everyone in our family had some musical ability to one degree or another. My mom was probably the most musically talented, and she was a real a beautiful singer and played piano,
yeah,
led the church
that's the
choir,
only
and
thing I'm really not pretty comfortable with the singing part. I
uh,
don't like the singing part that much
you know the
because I
last two
can't
bands that
really
I,
sing.
yeah, it's 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 just like playing the harmonica. It's like it's a matter of what you
I mean,
feel.
I do it because it's kind of part of the song, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I can sing.
Well,
I do it, and I find a way to make it work. But
mhm.
I can say I'm a good harmonica player because I
Yeah.
am. But
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't.
definitely.
But I cannot say the same thing about the singing stuff.
I have my moments. So I like to sing, and you've heard a lot of my tunes, where I'm singing, and it's just a matter of today I can, and tomorrow I might not be able to. It's kind of like that.
I mean,
You
it's all about you have to know your boundaries
Sure.
and
Yep.
then not go beyond that, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's all about. That's all I
Yep.
can say about that.
I
Uh,
agree wholeheartedly.
uh, and but the problem is knowing that does not prevent you from going beyond that.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Well, you only get better by practice. That's
yeah,
it's just like anything.
and you heard me sing. I don't know. You be the judge. I mean, I can't really sing,
Oh,
but I do.
I'm not going to say that. I think yes, you can. It's just
I mean,
there's a
it's always it's a thing of degrees. I
sure,
can
yeah.
sing, but
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a Freddie Mercury or something
there
like
you
that.
go. See, I mean, there's because if you only compare yourself with people of about the same skill
Yeah.
level, then you can say, well, I can, but you can't compare yourself against a Freddie Mercury. See, that's
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
unless,
I mean, the line is pretty high there,
yeah,
right?
there you go.
Uh,
It's all, and all of music is that way. I've listened to, you hear guys that are that are professionals that are recording stars or whatever, and I've heard, some of them. You think, well, that didn't
I
sound so
mean, and
good. It must have,
that is kind of also a strange thing because I learned from Will Wild, and
yeah.
he's really one of the best guys,
Oh, yeah.
and it is good to learn from the best guys.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
You need to learn from the best guys, but it is
Hmm.
also sometimes so frustrating
Oh, I
because
agree. Yeah.
uh, you sit there with him in a lesson and he does this really complicated stuff,
Hmm.
and he sits there like basically Master Yoda,
Yeah.
and does it without seemingly any effort,
Yeah.
and
There's, gosh, that's
you struggle to do that, and finally you get to do it,
mhm.
but um, it can be really intimidating
Oh, I
sometimes
agree. That's
if
there's a there's
somebody
a
is so good.
there's a an artist that follows me on Band Labs, and he's said several times, and he plays a little bit, but he's always real complimentary, and that always gives you a little bit more confidence too. Just somebody that can respect your ability, and it gives you that confidence to kind of feel like, you know you're not horrible. So that's
I
the
mean,
first step. And then it's just however you add on to it. And it's like
yeah,
anything. It's the effort you put in is the determinant of where you're at with it.
yeah, that is the thing because I that's a strange thing because I have songs
Hmm.
that I like. The best example I have for me is, remember the song I wrote that was called the Gunslinger's
Hmm.
Ballad.
Yep.
That was kind of a joke song I did, right?
You see,
I think
yeah.
I wasn't even serious doing
Yeah.
that, right? It is G minor. It is
Mhm.
basically always the same stuff, It is.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure about the progression. It should be 1, 6, and 7 in G minor,
Yeah.
repeatedly, uh,
Yeah.
and then I wrote lyrics uh, to it and arranged it like funny Western
Hmm.
movie. I was like annoyed that people always said to me when I said I'm a harmonica player. They always said to me something like, "Oh, like in the American
The
Western
westerns,
movies,"
and that's
and I said no, like in blues music, and they didn't have a clue what that
sure.
was,
That's
because you don't have a clue what blues is
no.
if you're not into blues, of
I
course.
agree.
And then they said something like, "Oh, yeah, right, like in the Western movies," and it
Hmm.
was like they didn't even listen to what I just said,
Nope. Nope.
and then and then I
That's
and then I
one of the first guitar players that I was in a band with. Uh, and I had known him from school, but we hadn't ever really played together. And he knew that I played harmonica, but he didn't know how, what my skill level was or anything. But we got in a garage band situation, him and a couple other guys and myself, and we were playing one time, and we were, I think it was just he and I were at our practice place, and and he goes, and we were talking about playing harmonica, and he goes, I always thought those were just toys, harmonicas, and I
Okay.
and I said, well, a lot of them are, it's
Yeah,
like anything. It's like it's like a
that is
toy
the strange
guitar.
thing because there
Yeah,
are a lot
yeah.
of toy harmonicas,
Oh,
you know.
definitely are.
But if
It,
you
it-
really want to seriously play harmonica, it's
mm,
not.
not a toy.
It is as hard as any
Yep.
instrument,
Right.
right?
Yes, definitely.
And
It's one of those.
it doesn't get recognition, and
I
that
agree.
annoys
I
me
agree.
sometimes.
Got guys like Will Wild. You know, uh, I'm kind of drawing a blank here now too. What's his name? Falisco, Joe Falisco. That guy is
Yeah,
just
Joe
he's
Felisko
on that he's that
is
that
fantastic.
same they're in that same bracket of like godly players or whatever. But he actually played at a little place south of here. It's been several years ago, 10 or so years ago. But they were on tour, and a lot of times they'll break away and do these little small venue things on an off night or whatever. But we went and listened to him, and that guy was like, and he's a true student of the harmonica, and he would kind of their show, he would kind of talk about this old player or
Yeah,
his style or this or that, and he was just a real real beyond his ability to play. He knew everything about the harp and about its history, and he was fun to
yeah.
watch. But it,
I
and
mean,
and while on that subject, he was playing at this place, and it's a little town called Donaldson, and we had gone. My wife and I. This is not too awful long ago. We had gone into a antique store, and this was in the window of the antique store, and it's a
is that a microphone? No.
no, it's a
What is?
it's
That's a harmonica. I didn't.
you can
What kind of is? Okay.
it
So
it
now I.
holds a marine band, and in fact it came with an old marine band harp.
That's kind of a rack or something.
It's a
Hold. Oh my god!
it's it was
That
sold as a novelty to make
that
train
sounds
train
like
sounds.
yeah.
It's just a little plastic thing, but I have found that a few different harps will fit into it, and I play around with it from time to time. Most of them though don't have.
Does it hold a regular crossover?
It's hard. It'll hold the. Let me see. It holds a crossover that kind of a little bit loose, but right.
Yeah. Cool. My god, that is. Can you send me that? That is cool, man.
Isn't that neat? Just a novelty. But anyways, my wife and I found, and it was actually in the original box that it shipped in to this guy that lived in Donaldson, and it's a real odd occurrence. But I've still got the harmonica that came with it. Was a cheap one, but it was made just like the marine band with that. How they have
Yeah.
that kick up. That it's so it fits in there real well. And then the a couple of other. I bought some East Top. Have you ever played those East Top
No,
harps?
but they are Chinese, right?
Yeah, and so
And
uh,
are they good?
some of them are real good. Surprisingly, they're real heavy. This is one of their blues harmonica. I think most of those that I have are, but they do they blow real easy, and they have good tone for it, and cheap. These were less than $20. I
Okay.
think this one was I don't think I gave $20 for it, and it's a D
But
flat.
usually, to be honest, when you
Mm,
buy a harmonica here in Germany that is less than 20 bucks, then
yeah,
you've gotten yourself basically a toy
a toy.
harmonica.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Uh,
it. These they flooded the market with these because they there was a brand Bushman. Have you heard of Bushman harps?
yeah, but I've never had one.
This I've got a couple, and they were only in business for a while, and they sold out and are being made over in China. So they use a lot of the same parts, evidently, as like the Bushman and the East Top. And I I had read somewhere that the some of the Bushman harps use the same reeds as the crossover, Marine Band
Oh, is
crossover.
that so?
So it
Okay.
has that kind of that same sound, but they're almost tinny, bluesy, real tinny sounding. But
Yeah.
so they got a good sound and they play
Yeah, that
real easy.
sounds good.
You know, that's the Bushman, and then uh, the East Top
I mean,
Blues.
Ryan says in South Africa the hops are also expensive. I can't talk
Yeah,
about that, but yeah.
yeah, they uh
And then he comes back and says, "You've got a Larry Adler
you know,
sound."
earlier we
Yeah,
were kind of starting to
yeah,
talk about how uh, growing up and the music that I was around, and my dad had a Larry Adler LP, so I listened to it quite a bit, and then later
yeah,
on he got a Charlie McCoy LP, and
yeah,
so a
yeah.
lot of my early, trying to copy sounds was those guys, Larry Adler and Charlie McCoy, and then of course
I got
Tony
into
Terry and
Charlie McCoy fairly late, I have to say, because uh, I wasn't that much into country,
yeah, yeah,
and also when I naively started to do that, I thought, uh, like if you listen to "On the Road Again," "On the Road
hmm
Again"
yeah,
from Charlie McCoy, not the Kennedy
hmm
thing, but the Charlie McCoy "On the Road Again," right?
hmm
Uh,
Oh, he's an
it,
amazing
it
player.
is, yeah, but
Mhm.
the thing is, if you hear him, it sounds. I'm trying to find the right word.
Mhm.
It sounds pretty naive sometimes, simple, naive, but it
Yeah,
isn't, because country requires you, uh, other than unlike blues. In blues,
uh,
you can often disguise. If you can't hit a note right away, then you just put
the
vibrato
thrill.
on it,
Yeah,
or do a thrill or something like
yeah.
that, and then you
See, and
can
that's
kind
yeah.
kind
Oh,
of
I agree, and
disguise your stuff,
I
right?
play
But
that. Mhm.
but
I
you
play that
need
way
to,
a lot.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you need to be very precise to do Charlie McCoy.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
He's a
and when I really got into that, I got a lot of respect for that
sure.
guy because he is such a precise bender.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. And he does it in like in line, not like it's real purposeful or something like his
yeah, and
you know
and he does it, and he never does something that shouldn't. Every time he does something, he does it with a purpose.
sure. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
he
He,
puts very there isn't much vibrato on
mhm.
Charlie McCoy's stuff, but when he does it in a way that you can hear
Yeah.
that is exactly what he wanted to do.
He's he's real. Was he was a real. They say the fastest harp in the South is what they always build him as, and I think that was even the the LP of his that I had was the fastest harp in the South. But he played a lot of first position, especially on his LPs that came out. He play because he would play the melody to to a
Yeah,
tune, and so
yeah.
it was like, well, you could hear the words as he played basically. So and like I said, it took me a while before I ran into somebody that explained that cross harp to me, because I always tried to play first position as well, just you know play the song in the key,
I
in the
have
right key,
to,
and
I
play the
have to
notes.
admit, I have to admit, in blues, I don't do that much first position.
Yeah, no, not
Uh,
at all. Not at all anymore.
I do, but very,
Yeah,
very seldomly.
yeah,
I do a lot of second position, like any
yeah,
player, and
yeah.
I do
Most
a
of what
lot
I
of
do.
third position.
Yeah,
But first position is not that much for me.
yeah.
Uh,
It takes more. It's like more disciplined. Not the
I mean,
same.
it's pretty limited also
Yes, that.
in blues.
Yeah.
You got that,
Hmm.
and then you
Which you
got the
don't hear
low.
much in country.
Then you got the low. Yeah, because that's the blues scale in the
Yeah,
upper octave
yeah,
functions a lot with these blow bands,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and then you have the lower end where you just basically have this,
yeah.
right,
Now, what
and
harmonica is that?
that's
Is that
still my C harmonica here, right?
hmm
But otherwise you can't even. So if you want to do the middle octave,
hmm
you need to do a lot of overblowing,
yeah.
and that is just, you can do it, but that is just pretty awkward,
But
you
which
know.
is, I mean, we talk about that too, and uh, there wasn't a whole lot of it. You know, hard to explain. It seems like I bought harmonicas thinking, well, I'll be able to play that way. I'll be able to play in that third position, and not understand exactly what it is that you're doing, or what you have to do to get those, like the notes that were just playing. And the Will Wild tunings, and there's other, two or three others that
And
Seidel puts out.
this is really where it helps to learn just a little bit of that
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
you don't need to write a doctor's degree on it, of
Yeah,
course, but
yeah. Well, there's all levels and with every instrument. I've
it
known
helps
guitar
to
I've known
know.
guitar players that thought they were real good, you know that were mediocre, and then in the same respect, I've known some that were so good that they seemed almost humble, about it, that you
Yeah,
not
that is
braggadocious.
kind of a phenomena,
Yeah,
that is all over the place, not
sure.
only in music,
Yeah,
because I have a degree in communication. That is what I
hmm,
that is where I learned to translate, right?
sure.
Uh, and this is something that happens with everything.
Hmm,
Have you heard of the Dunning Kruger?
sure. Yeah,
So what it means is people that are very confident in whatever are likely to be the less informed people,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
the more informed you are, the more you're gonna know what you don't know yet, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
less confident you're gonna get, right? This
Exactly.
is kind
Yeah.
of a strange thing that happens the more you learn.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, and yeah,
Well, that's a lot of harmonica players are like you and I. It's not because I can probably count on my hand, one hand, the amount of harmonica players that I've known through the years that were good players, and it took.
I have to admit, I apart from you
Hmm.
and Will Wild,
Hmm.
I don't know any. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan does play, and Ryan is fairly good,
Uh,
uh, but he doesn't play only harmonica, so he's
uh,
not like. For me,
yeah.
it's the main instrument, and that's
Hmm.
why I really focused on that, and that's
Sure.
why I became pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I have to, and I don't want to be mean, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of crappy harmonica
Yes,
players,
there are. There are
and
some on bandwagon.
they don't even know it. So
Uh,
they think
there's a guy that
themselves they think
there's
themselves to be very good, but they
accomplished.
are
Yeah.
not, man. They
Nope.
are not.
Nope. It's a tricky, you know, because you're a lot of times you're playing the melody along with, you're playing in partially first position and second position, and so it's
I bet
it's
you that these guys don't even know what that is.
one or the other. No, no.
I bet you that they don't know
Uh,
what that is.
uh, there's a guy that is on band quite a bit, and I've followed him for a while, but he's a harp player, and we had a few conversations early on about playing, and he's one of these guys that he doesn't understand cross harp at all, and so a lot of times he'll say, I added such and such harmonica in key of C, and then you listen to the song and you think, well, you probably should have been in a G or something. It just doesn't,
And
but I've never said that to the guy, just to myself,
yeah,
thinking,
but
well, but
I then you are more polite than I am
yeah,
because I
yeah,
get annoyed with these guys a lot because
yeah,
I am the nicest guy ever. You can believe me, but
yeah,
so I have no problem with people not knowing something.
sure,
But
yeah,
I have a problem with people that don't know
think they
something
do,
and pretend they do.
sure,
And
yep,
and as long as they are honest and they say,
hmm,
"Man, I don't know what that is. Can you please show me?"
sure,
Or
yeah,
or even not saying it, but not coming across as these
yeah,
uh,
they think
very
they know,
very
yeah,
confident pricks,
yeah,
you know.
yep, and
And
there are some out there.
I will call them out for it because I
Yeah.
hate that. Because
Oh,
when
I'm at a point in my life where it's just kind of like, well, if you feel that you know what you're doing, then have at it. But yeah, I
yeah,
don't
I
argue with
mean
much
maybe I'm
anybody.
not as wise yet, but
It'll happen.
yeah.
Time has a way of doing that.
I
That's for
mean,
sure.
really I have a problem with these guys. So
Hmm.
if they admit they don't know that, I have no
Yeah.
problem showing that and
Yeah.
explaining that to them,
Sure.
right? But
Sure.
if they come across as I know it all, and
Hmm.
then they can't even distinguish cross harp from third position or
Sure.
whatever,
Yeah.
then they get a problem with me
I
because
agree. Yeah.
yeah. So
I agree. It's
because you can't. The thing is, you can't learn if you already think you know
I
everything, right?
agree. Uh, You
Uh,
know, I played for a lot of years where I wouldn't, especially if I was playing in like a band, because you'd get together and you'd practice, and then you might play out, and we'd play a couple of times a week. But I got to where when I came home, I'd hardly play because you get that, you get it out of your system, getting to go and jam with the guys and all of it. So I would I wouldn't play at home much. So I think I actually got to being a better harmonica player when I wasn't in a band anymore, and could kind of come across guys like or Will
yeah.
Wild or whoever, and uh, so it was. I think I've gotten to be a better harmonica player now that that's kind of all I do. I don't really you know don't I don't play guitar much anymore, so
I
this
mean,
is
for
my thing.
me, to be honest, for me, it wasn't even a conscious decision. It was
Mm,
just I really wanted to play an instrument,
sure.
and as you know, I'm disabled,
Hmm.
and my hands they don't work like yours do.
Sure.
So I
Yep.
couldn't play guitar, right? I
Hmm.
tried, and that just my fingers don't work like that, right?
Sure.
That
Yep.
is, I
Yep.
can I could use a keyboard, but
Yeah.
only like for composing, not for
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
play. And that's how I compose. I have my
Hmm.
my MIDI keyboard, right?
Sure.
And
Yep.
uh, but other than that, I can't really do much with my hands,
Sure.
uh,
Yeah. I,
musically at least.
I can't
And
anymore. There was a
yeah,
time
you know, then
I never was a real good guitar player, but I was
but
good
then
enough
you
that I could
but then
write.
you get but then you got an idea what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
It just
it's frustrating.
it isn't possible for me, and
Sure.
so I had a problem because I really wanted to play an instrument, right? And
Yeah.
then one sunny morning, we were driving around in the car. Well, I was still 15 years old, and my
Hmm.
in my mother's car, and we were driving by this music store, and there
Hmm.
in the window, I saw this harmonica shining in the sun,
Hmm.
and I said to my mother, "Look, right, there is a harmonica. Can I blah? You know how that is, right?"
Sure.
And I didn't really have money back then because of course, I was only 15,
Hmm.
and my mother wasn't really. I had tried so much by that time
Yeah.
and not really succeeded. So she
Yep.
wasn't really, I can't blame her for that
Sure.
because I think she was a bit protective because she didn't want me to be disappointed again,
Sure.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's what
uh,
parents do.
uh, and she wasn't really convinced.
Yeah.
But she did buy me that harmonica,
Mm.
and that was the start of where we are now,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. Like I
And now
I
she
told
could,
you,
and now
my
she could
brother got one for
uh,
Christmas. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's same thing with me. Had a I had an aptitude for, I couldn't play. Mom played piano, and I never could figure all that out, and or guitar, and then the brother played anything. We could play trumpet and baritone and all. So there was a lot of musical ability. It was just kind of like the harmonica made sense to me, just the scale, and so I
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
picked up on that pretty quick, and but I was never, you know, early on. It was just learning to play, and and I know. One time I had been back in my bedroom and I was playing, and I came out and my dad said something about, well, you sure sound hokey, meaning country or whatever. And I thought, well, at least he's listening to it. I wasn't even certain that they could hear me down at the other end of the house, but just that, it kind of gives you a little bit of, well, then I'm going to get better at it at least.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm going to get
And
criticized,
and to be honest, that is important because for me it was not like I didn't succeed gradually.
yeah,
Uh, so I don't even know how to describe that. So I didn't do anything right for a very long time, and
mm-hmm,
then I did these quantum leaps.
mm-hmm,
Someday I just figured something out. I couldn't even
sure,
tell you how,
yeah,
but some fine day I just figured out how to bend the fourth draw,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then I just made this big giant leap,
sure,
and
yeah,
from there I stayed at that level for
mm-hmm,
a very long time. And then the next quantum leap came. So
yeah,
it's not like every
all at
day I
once,
got better or
yeah.
something like that.
Mine was always, because I would hear these guys play, and you'd think, how do they get that sound? I'm playing, thinking I'm playing the same harmonica they're playing, same type or
Yeah,
whatever,
it's a total mystery,
and
right?
couldn't figure it out, couldn't figure that out. Then I ran across you know, uh, started listening to some older blues players and kind of listen to the guys that uh, started playing amplified, and it was like, oh, so I had to get a
Yeah.
sure bullet mic and a Fender Champ amplifier,
You
and
still have to fend the champ.
I do have I bought that
Is
one,
that the one you said that developed the buzzing
up
sound?
there. Yep. Yes. It's got some issues right now. I think it's probably because it has tube overdrive. It's a
Ah, okay, I see.
transistor. It's a transistor amp, but it has tube overdrive, so you can play through the amp just, without uh, without any overdrive to it at all, or you can. It's got a foot switch, so you can hit that, and it's like boosts it to, I don't even remember what it is now. It's a it's a 12-inch speaker, and
Yeah.
it's only like
How many watts
15
does it
watts.
have?
It's 15 watts.
Ah,
So
okay, okay, cool.
it's not. But when you hit that uh, the uh, the overdrive pedal, it sounds like an amp that's twice the size. It just has
Yeah, yeah.
real loud. But
This is
but
kind of something I also experience with the stage 5 I
hmm
have, right?
yeah,
It is
yeah,
basically it's just a 5 watt amp, but
yep, I
once you
know.
get it into that overdrive
Hmm.
pedal, right?
Yep,
It
yep,
you don't recognize that it's just an five
yep,
watt amp,
yep.
right?
Oh, I know. That's
But
a
But Ryan says, what does he say? He said he started harmonica because he wanted to sound like Little Walter.
yeah,
Yes, I mean,
yeah,
join the club, man. We
yes,
all.
exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
that was it. That was it. It was hearing those guys and thinking,
and to be honest, I still work on Juke. I still can make that sound like Little Walter does. I
yeah,
can play it, but I don't sound
yeah.
like Little Walter.
That's Sonny Terry. He was such a good player. He had great big hands. I think was probably key to it. But he had a way of
He's a
cupping,
big guy,
big guy, and he would like play these notes that were like wah wah. You could
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody was
I
talking
perfectly
almost.
know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yes. Yeah. And just hearing those guys and thinking of, I've got to figure that out. I've got to figure out the, those
Yeah,
little.
I still work on that, and I'm
Sure.
pretty good, but I still work on that.
Oh, me too. That's I watch. I get hung up on watching YouTube, and I'll listen to the several guys, and it's still the same. It's still, I feel like I'm pretty accomplished at what I do, and then but I still get that inferiority complex when you hear
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that next step up.
We all have that, man. We
Yeah,
all have that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but we are 1.5 hours in, and I
yeah.
don't want to keep you that much from your
I yeah.
food. So if you want to quit, I'm perfectly
I'm gonna
fine.
have to. I'm gonna have to. I've got a doctor's appointment here this
Oh,
afternoon.
I'm
So,
sorry. Is
so
everything
no,
all
no, no,
right?
no. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's just one of those. For to satisfy the insurance carrier, you got to go see
Ah, okay, I see.
the doctor that wrote the prescription. You have to go see him every so often just to make everybody get their fair share. So it's just one of those. Nothing serious.
Ah, okay, then I'm relieved. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm good. But well, this is fun. This is real fun. I
yeah, this
had a
was real fun, and we should
yeah,
definitely do it again
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. I'm good with that.
Uh,
We'll have to figure out something that we can kind of both jam to or something that
yeah, the thing is, I think it is still a little bit of delay here, so we
yeah,
need to. But what we could do is, we could lay out something, and we do it on BandLab,
sure.
and then we do both a video, and I
Hmm.
can like lay that. I can edit it like that. It looks like we were playing in the same
Sure.
room, right? That
Yeah.
that would.
Have you used the video editor of the Mix Lab or MixEd? That
No, no. I use my own kind of software, but
hmm
I and I have. And I also have my own DAW, so that is
hmm And
the
that's
digital
beyond
audio.
Band Lab. That's I've always, I've got a Focusrite interface, and I use Audacity,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So a
so
band lab is crappy, I
it
have to
can
say.
be, it can be, it can be.
So
But
I
yeah,
what I usually do, I download
hmm
the song the guys want me to. So if it's not my song, because
hmm
obviously if it's just my song, I can just record it in my own
sure,
DAW.
hmm
I use Ableton.
hmm
Ableton.
hmm
Uh, if I write my own songs, I can do that in Ableton. But
hmm
if I don't, if the guys from Mule Train
yeah,
ask me to play something, then I download the song
their
from
track,
BandLab so
hmm
that I don't have to go on that crappy unstable what is that studio is it called, right?
mix editor,
Yeah, mix
yeah,
edit, right. Because it's so unstable.
yeah, yeah.
uh
Yeah.
and then
I I use it a lot though because of when somebody leaves a tune open for fork, and it's just because it's simple, because I
yeah,
can
it is.
fork the tune, and within 2 minutes you're on board, and you can kind of do your thing, and I do like a lot of the effects that they have now.
Yeah, they are pretty good, I have
They
to
are.
admit that.
They used to not be near that good, and then they really updated some stuff. I think it's when they took
but,
over
but
Reverb
what I do
Nation, and
then but what I do then, I download it, then I record over it, and then I upload it again,
sure,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
and that's
So,
kind of
but
how, yeah, we've
I
always
don't
kind of
want
done
to
that with
keep
the boards.
you, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I'd better get. I
yeah.
need to
So
get.
it was absolutely fun,
Sure,
for
yeah,
me at least.
yeah, myself.
And it was a blast. Finally, it worked.
Yep.
No sun
Nope.
spots anymore.
Yeah, there was definitely something going on
Oh,
last
but
time.
I got one last thing because I checked it before I started that live stream.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm now outing myself as a total nerd, because I checked it again because I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan, and Iowa
Yeah.
is the birthplace of Captain Kirk in the
Yeah.
year
Yeah. 2027,
2223 or
something
something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah. That's
So you get to be the birthplace of
yep.
Captain Kirk. So
It's
it can't
that's
be cool,
he
right?
says that he was born in a town, Riverside, Iowa, and
Ah, okay.
it's actually only about, I don't know, 30 minutes from here, 30 minutes north of here, and they have a Trek, what do they call it, Trekkie convention or something like that they do every year.
Ah, okay.
So the town has little banners on the street lights, and it has like each one of the characters from the Star Trek show. So it
I mean,
and the
the guy is even still alive, man.
yeah, oh yeah, he's like
He's
92 or
92 right now,
yeah, he
right?
might live to see his future
Yeah,
future birth. That'd be
he
bizarre.
might live, he might live to see his future birth, right?
Exactly. But
So anyway, I
okay,
loved it very much. I thank you from
so
the bottom of my
sure,
harmonica heart.
I'm glad to
Uh,
do it. Glad to do it.
and we'll see each other on BandLab and
Sure.
hopefully again here,
Yeah,
right?
I'm up for it anytime. Just give me a holler.
Okay, cool. Then
All right, Patrick.
have a nice day.
You
For
bet.
me,
You
it's
do the
already
same.
evening, so there
Yeah.
is nothing much more
Yeah.
going on,
Well,
right?
I'll come back from the doctor and I'll probably take a nap, and there's not
Okay.
much going
So
on
then
here either.
have a nice day and
Sure.
enjoy your food after coming back from the
I'll do
doctor.
so. I'll do so.
And
Thank you.
give your family my best regards
You
if they
bet.
care
I'll
about it.
tell them about this. You'll post this up on your channel, YouTube channel. Is that
Yes, so that will go on the channel
okay?
after it is finished uploading. So you
Sure.
will be on there.
Okay.
And
Well,
the first one is also on there, although it wasn't really.
yeah, it was a
Uh,
mess. It was a mess.
uh, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
but it's still on there because
Yeah,
why wouldn't it be? So
sure.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, if you insist, I can delete it, but
no, I don't know. I'm good. I'm good.
yeah, okay, cool.
All right,
Uh,
man.
Thanks,
You,
Doc.
you
Until the
bet,
next time,
Patrick.
right?
Yep. And to whoever else, see you guys.
Take care.
Take care.
So I'm alone right now, but I have to say hello to Richard. Hi, Richard. And I have to say hello to Ferdi because I didn't have the time. And yeah, the connection is better right now. And I have to go right now also because I'm pretty tired. And I really have to drink something because it's hot in here. Right? Guys, I thank you. It was fun, but it also was exhausting. So I'm gonna wrap this up right now, and we'll see each other again in the next video, and then, of course, in the next stream, right? I hope you enjoyed that all, and until the next time. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Let's see, is there still a chat that I need to show? No, I think I have them all, right? Yeah, he says hello. And Richard says, have a good one. I hopefully will. You too have a good one. Uh, it's not quite time to go to bed, but I will hopefully have a nice night when I then go to bed. Uh, Also, guys, thank you very much for liking that last song of mine so much. And sorry for the shades, but I really had dark rings under my eyes because I have sometimes problems with insomnia. But it's fine right now. Okay, so I'll wrap this up right now. Uh, Have a good one, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye. Let's figure this out. Bye, guys.